Hello, hello everybody. Today's Friday, and like usual time, we can start our weekly meeting. And today we will present what was done during this week and our current update, and all the pitfalls we faced with, and all the problems we solved during this week. Unfortunately, our product owner Mark can't attend today's meeting because he is on another meeting, on another training, where he will be sharing update on MSI as well. So too many meetings about MSI. And let's start with presentation by Vitaly Boyko from Atvix, because he's in a hurry and he should attend another meeting in 10 minutes. So let's give him an opportunity to make a presentation and the bug fixes he did during this week. So Vitaly, the stage is yours.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
And can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so I was worked on the issue, which you can see, return to stock during credit memo for order with virtual product not respecting source priority for stock. But I must add also that this behavior also happened with other types of product, with simple as well. So I will show you my fix on simple product. Also, I will skip first steps in order to save time, because I've already placed the order. And let's try to reproduce. So here I have a simple product with two not default sources. For each source, I've set a quantity as 100, and I've placed the order. And let's change the priority of sources. I just drag and drop the sources and save them. So for now, source deduction should be performed on source number 3. Let's invoice the order. As you see, quantity equals 15. So I submit invoice. So it's done. Let's check the quantity. Oh, oops. Strange. Interesting why quantity wasn't deducted. That's weird.
After invoice for simple product never deducted from the source, actually.
Oh.
It's only for virtual.
Yeah, let's ship then. Yeah, we can check. Igor, may I try it once again with virtual?
Of course, you can, but actually, so far so good. So we are moving the right way. So
yeah, okay, then.
In case of virtual product, we make the invoice creation and source deduction at the time when the order is placed. So we have like a three steps in one. But if you want to demonstrate it with a simple product, you should proceed with all these three steps independently, like step by step. Order, invoice, and the shipment.
So let's. So let's ship this order.
While Vitaly is demonstrating, I will just tell a little bit more how the system actually works in this case. So when at the time when the invoice is created and Vitaly goes to the source selection algorithm, currently we have the only source selection algorithm implemented. So it's priority-based algorithm, and the system provides an ability, like provides an option for distribution between the sources, sorting them out by the priority. And in this particular case, we have the source 3 with a higher priority than additional source. So the system actually proposed to make a source deduction, so proposed to make a shipment from the source 3. And when we actually place an order, we make the source deduction, so the number of items allocated on particular physical source is deducted. And
as you can see, it happened now.
As you can see, it happened in this particular case when the shipment was placed, and the number of items on the source 3 was deducted on 15, and now it's 85.
Yeah, let's go ahead and create a refund. Let's check that we wanna return all the 15 pieces back to the stock, and based on our algorithm, it should be returning back to source 3. So let's refund. Then I will refresh a page to check it. As you can see, everything works as well. And let's find out where was the issue. So we have in our service get invoice items per source by priority 2 loops. And before my changes, first loop first loop contain the source items by SKU for one product, and the other loop get source assigned to stock ordered by priority. So second loop was took the second loop take into account the priority, and on first match it returned a source code. So as you can see, it's obvious that the order of loops was wrong, and I was changed it. So that's it, simple fix, and everything works well for now. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Vitaly. Just let me describe in a few words how the behavior of our refund process should work like, because it's pretty interesting because how, like, for example, the order can be fulfilled from several sources, like source A, source B, source C, and but actually return happens at the time of return. If the checkbox get back to stock is clicked, we also applied, let's call it reverse source selection algorithm. And if the particular product, so for particular product, we choose all the sources where this product is allocated. For example, this product is allocated on source A and source C, and after that we sort the sources by priority as well, and we make a return to the source with the highest priority. So in this particular case, we actually don't return, like, if the same product was delivered from several sources, like source A, source B, and source C, the whole order gonna be refunded, we would not return the same quantity which were delivered from all the sources. Instead, we will return all the ordered quantity to the source with the highest priority. And this is actually what Vitaly demonstrated. And this is how the system works. So we run the reverse source selection algorithm under the hood to determine the source with the highest priority, where each particular product is allocated, and after that we make a return of the whole product amount to this particular source. So this is all regarding this bug, and now Slava will demonstrate a number of issues, because actually last 2 weeks we spent most of the time of checking different use cases devoted to the calculation of both sellability and availability quantities, and we had quite tricky cases to check. Now Slava will demonstrate one of these, not one, but a few of these cases, and will demonstrate the issues were fixed. So Slava, feel free to share your screen.
Hello, everyone. So today, first of all, I will start from demonstrating some fixes. Was two actually PR what was provided by Sergey Motov, and the first PR dedicated to cancellation of partially invoiced order with bundle products. For the bundle product at the moment work only default stock. So I already created bundle product and created order with it. Here you may see my order, and I will show you my product grid. You may see that I have this bundle product, and already after placing order, I have a sellable quantity of simple product, what is child of the bundle, deducted to 10. So first I will do partial invoice. For example, for 3 items, and submit my invoice. And next step will be I do cancellation of this order. And problem was that after cancellation of order, it was not returned to the sellable quantity of the product. And let us check what happened with our simple product as a child of bundle. Now we see that after cancellation of products, we have returned 7 items what was not invoiced. What is correct? Because invoiced items, they should not be returned. This is actually a first fix. And the second fix, I need to go switch to custom source and custom stock. I need to assign main website as sales channel to test stock. And we will I will demonstrate issue dedicated to source selection algorithm for configurable products. So I have products, configurable product, which have also 2 child, as simple, allocated on 2 different custom sources. One is Lviv, another is Dnipro. And let us check how source selection algorithm will work. So I need to, after changing my inventory and stocks, I need to do full reindex. And let us place order. So here are our configurable products. And I'm going to place order with one of the option for 10 items. Okay, order is placed. And I go to admin to open our order. Here it is. So this is our order with 10 item on configurable child of configurable products, color blue. And I do shipping. Because I have 2 sources, 2 warehouse, I may choose. And for example, I will choose Dnipro. And let me ship 3 items from there. The issue was that after you do partial shipment, on the next shipment, you still propose to deliver all quantity. For example, in our case, it would be 10. But let us do second shipment and check how source selection algorithm work. For example, I choose a Lviv warehouse, and you may see that we have proposed to ship only 7 quantity of this product. This is actually all for this fix, and I will go next to show several, two actually scenario what we face. Sort of, it was interesting scenario and interesting testing during this week and actually last 2. So you may see in on our GitHub there are several issues what was opened but then closed because it was for us difficult to understand how system should work. So let us do, where's our category? Let me place order again, and I will do 10 items as well, just with simple product. Here it is. Let us open our order in admin area. So here it is. So we placed 10 items of simple products from custom stock. And I will do full invoice for this order. Oh, and let us check, first of all. Let us check here our simple test product. And after placing order, it's supposed to sellable quantity of product supposed to reduce it to be reduced to 10 items. Here it is. It's 90 now. And I will do full invoice for 10 items. And nothing happened with our product because after invoice, there is no deduction. But next step, I will do shipment, but not full shipment, but partial one. And I decide to ship just 3 items from the source. Submitting our shipment. And let us see what happened with our products. We used to have 100 on the source, and we have shipped 3 items, so our source deducted to 3 items. Our sellable quantity is still the same, because if we would check our table, you may see here we have reservation. It's negative for 10 items when we place order, and we have reservation when we do shipment. To compensate, it's compensational reservation, compensate 3 items what was deducted from the source. So next step is very tricky when we do credit memo. But we do not full credit memo with return to the stock, but only for 3 items. And in the beginning, we was thinking that if we deducted 3 items from the source, we're supposed to have back it to the source after refund. It's logical, sort of say. But let us check what happened with our products. No, it is not like this. We still have 97 items on the source, but we have 3 items returned to sellable quantity. And this was kind of confusion in the beginning, and we even I even created ticket on GitHub dedicated as a bug. But after some consideration, when understood that actually we have 10 items was invoiced and 3 delivered already to the client. So credit memo not considered to return item what was already shipped, but we have another same what was invoiced. And this why in our table we see that system returned by compensation reservation 3 items to the sellable quantity. And to check that everything is well, I may do partial credit memo for the rest of items and do refund. And in this case, we may see in table that we have only 4 items returned after credit memo, even if we have 7. Why? Because 3 already shipped. And let us check quantity of our product. Here it is, everything returned well. So we used to have 100 on the source, and now after full return, full refund, we have 100 again, and sellable quantity right as well.
So this is not really high mathematics, but the main idea here is that the value should be compensated just once. And here we have here the system, when we have the partially invoiced order, which was partially shipped afterwards, we have an assumption, and the system is supposed to make an assumption if the credit memo occurs. So we should decide whether we will make a return from the already shipped products, or where we should try to make a return the invoiced but not shipped product. And currently, the system tries to optimize the process for merchant, because if in our case, like initial, if you will always return what was already shipped, merchant actually will end up with reshipping this some quantity afterwards. But what the system currently tries to accomplish, the system tries to make as less shipments as possible. So if we have some, like for example, in this particular case, when we had the partial shipment of 7 items, and we had a partial invoice of 7 items, and we have a shipment of 3. So we still have 4 items which are invoiced but still located on a warehouse, and actually making the credit memo, we just compensate this not shipped part. So, and this actually doesn't introduce necessity for merchant to return the items which were already sent. So it's a pretty interesting case. And now Slava will show you a little bit even more sophisticated case with the partial invoice and the partial shipment and the credit memo.
But invoice will be full, only shipment will be partial and credit memo partial, but it's reward. We will ship, let us ship 5, for example. And let us see the quantity, what happened with it. It's the same product. So after shipment, we have 95 on the source, and the sellable quantity is 90. And let's do credit memo. What is bigger than what amount of shipment, but also partial as well. Let us do for 6 with return to the stock. And check our quantity. It's again from 5 items what was already shipped, because 6 is more than 5, only 1 item it's supposed to be returned, And here we have the sellable quantity is 96 as well, because it was compensated. Let us check in table. We may see here, we have 10 items was, we have reservation after placing order, 5 items after shipment created, and 5 items, it's a compensation reservation to restore sellable quantity, what we have here. And 1 item was added because it's returned to the stock from 5 what shipped, 1 just returned to the source. This is why we have 96 here and here. Yeah, it was quite tricky, but finally we understood what is wrong. And I think that's all from me for today.
I believe you can. That's not really all, because Sergey wants to make a presentation, but unfortunately he doesn't have a mic on his working place, so you can sound up his presentation.
Yeah. So let me start.
I don't know.
Or it's later. Okay.
Yeah. So just to finalizing the presentation by Slava. So this is pretty interesting stuff, and actually the main idea of all our calculations, that all the, like, summing up all the reservation which we're creating in the scope of particular business event, for example, in our case, order, like shipments, credit memos, cancellation, etc., etc. Summing up all this reservation eventually should give us 0. And just doing this, we are not affecting and we are not getting the wrong quantity at the end. So this is pretty interesting stuff. That's why for example, like during the return, some items get back to as a reservation, another get back to the directly to the source item. But summing up all the reservation quantities, we are given like 0. So the next one going to be Sergey. I don't know whether Sergey is able to share his screen. Try to share your screen, Sergey. Oh. So Slava, feel free to describe what Sergey is showing.
Okay. So Sergey contributed the PR to fix the problem about unnecessary warning message during creating order with out of stock products. So we have, for example, simple products. It's created in the system and it's status set status out of stock. We go to admin and after we try to add product to the order, we had two messages, and one is irrelevant. The requested quantity is not available because actually we do have quantity of this product, but because product is out of stock, it's not possible to add it to the order. So here, this picture of the bug, and Sergey, you may feel free to show your fix.
Sergey currently demonstrating how it was implemented before.
Mm-hmm.
And what exactly changes he introduced.
So You see that we have custom stock with custom source. And we go to backend pack. And go to the cell to order, try to create new order from admin. And try to add product to the order. Here you see the warning message that the product is out of stock, and a second warning message, which was irrelevant, is not here. Yeah, you may see the sellable quantity is 0 because product is out of stock, even if this product have 100 on the source. Yeah, today when I was testing this PR, I found out it was fixed for custom stock, but not for default stock. This is why Sergey switched his system to default stock. Don't forget to do reindex, I guess. This is another part of the fix in the code. It is irrelevant message is absent.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
Yeah, so the bug is fixed, and just let me say thank you to Sergey. Sergey joined us just this week, and when we were finalizing our preparation for 2.3 release and fixing all these bugs and all these pretty tricky calculation cases. And it was really nice that Sergey jumped into this rush around the release preparation of MSI, and he fixed this issue. So welcome on board, Sergey, and we will definitely have more bugs and other issues for you to contribute. And the next one gonna be Tom, who will share his update on the MFTF test and his proposal on what's gonna be covered and the way how it's gonna be covered.
Okay, thank you, Igor. Let me share my screen with you here. Oh. Okay, never mind.
We're looking at your Slack, Tom. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I know, it jumped between monitors. There you go. Are we looking at this now?
Yes, PowerPoint.
Thank you. Great, sorry about that. Okay, so MSI automated testing, that's with MFTF. For any of those who missed maybe last demo or something, I'm Tom, new to the team, and we'll be handling sort of our quality approach going forward, with the focus being on MFTF automated testing with MSI. So this is an initial analysis that's been done around where we are currently, what our process is, and what our next steps are for automated testing, where we want to go, and how we're going to drive the quality process as well. So currently we're using HipTest as our basis of automation. The current state of that is that we're targeting on S0 and S1 only for automation from HipTest manual definitions. Some of those definitions were written previously and maybe haven't been updated to follow current UI changes, so there's some inconsistency there. As automation is based from that, we need to go back and make sure that hip test is correct. For community contributors, we will make sure that hip test is correct so that we have, you know, a stable starting point for automation. We also need to go back and reflect all of our bug fixes to have test coverage in there. We'll talk about that as our plan going forward in terms of our prioritization of covering bug fixes with automation, especially obviously those critical bug fixes we're looking at. The current coverage gaps, and by gaps here, this is simply gaps identified from hip test where we've identified scenarios as S0 or S1, but have not yet written automation for that. Product creation, bundled and group products don't have full coverage. Ordering group products, then around order cancellation, credit memos, especially with the recent PRs and bug fixes, and then shipments around those grouped and bundled products as well. That's one of the following cases that needs the grouped and bundled product creation and orders to obviously flow into shipments there as a basis of that. So that's just currently what hip test looks like. I am proposing that we prioritize a little differently in terms of our next steps. So as we said, prioritize out a hip test just on that S0, S1 bucketing. But going forward, we want to follow a hierarchy for what our prioritization of automation is. So we want to look first at critical and blocker bugs, where they're identified and fixed. We've done great work there, but obviously we've identified a flaw in the system and we want to have associated automated test coverage with that. That means making the hip test manually and then automating on top of that. Then we also want to look at newly developed functionality. Our current approach is not so flawed that our regression coverage for Milestone 2 is bad. So we did get good automated coverage in that. So we want to also look at newly developed functionality. And the note here, unless it's API only, and I know there is some of that for Milestone 3. Then the actual backlog itself, once we've covered those first 2 points, I'd like to follow a hierarchy. So that's component coverage is going to be our first metric. So what is covered, where isn't, based on those gap. And then product criticality as well. And once we've identified what are our critical areas that have maybe not as much coverage as we want for a Milestone 3, then we prioritize that S0, S1 tagging within that. And the note here is that, you know, we'll be having a discussion around what that prioritization is and what areas we focus on. That will be very much a living document, and going forward as we develop new features, as we get new priorities, the test automation priorities will have to evolve with that, and that'll be ongoing. So in terms of our focus then, I haven't talked about this in theory, what we actually want to focus on going forward, I believe, is around these 3 interconnected things. That's order status, the transition states between order statuses, and the calculations that are triggered off those. So that's actually what we've been talking about in these bug fixes. That's what calculations happen when we refund things, when we invoice things. As an order progresses through its life cycle, we do need full coverage of that in automation, I believe. That is because this forms critical regression. As we make changes, that order flow is always going to be critical to the application working correctly. Having good, well-developed coverage in that allows incremental development work that touches that order flow, and a lot of it will, to have a solid automation basis that makes it very easy to extend upon if we have that strong foundation. And then it's also going to be our primary point for ensuring that those calculations are always correct. And obviously incorrect calculations are usually going to be critical bugs. So that's why we're focusing on this as a strong foundation of automation coverage going forward. Also, I mean, having all the coverage in the world is fantastic, but we want to be able to report on this. We want to be able to be agile and track where we are and track how our priorities should change going forward. Hip test lacks some of the more advanced abilities that we want to really highlight those priorities and report on exactly where we are at any one time. In the short term, we're going to do that hierarchical review of priorities with business and product and quality. We're going to refine and improve our product documentation so we have a better definition of our test flows and our order flows so that we're doing the correct type of testing and not missing anything. And I'm going to be producing weekly status reports in this demo meeting about where we are, that is going to require some development time to parse and analyze HIP test export data. So the reporting will get better week on week as we go. Hopefully you'll see that. Essentially, that's me. As you'll see, we'll be producing some of those testing around the order status and transitions as we go forward. That's all I have, unless anyone has any questions for that.
Thanks, Tom. The only thing that I would like to add is that Tom and I will be working on the format of the document that Tom mentioned, and hopefully we'll come up with a way to, I apologize, to put together a pivotable table that would be very easy to extract information from, therefore solving the problem that we currently have with HIP test. So keep your eyes peeled for that happening.